Hello guys, and welcome back to another video.
Oh shit, here we go again.
Today I'll be showing you how to run Zig code inside JavaScript. Yes, running Zig code inside JavaScript using the Bunjs runtime. So we'll be using Bun, we'll be not using, there is Bun, Node.js and Deno, but in this scenario we'll be using the Bun runtime. So what I've done, I've created a folder, then I will open it inside my favorite code editor. And as you know, my favorite code editor is Visual Studio Code. So I will open Visual Studio Code, then we'll go ahead and create some files here. If you have any other text editor, you can use it, but for me I will be illustrating using Visual Studio Code. So things that you have to install in your machine, you have to have the Bun runtime. So you should go to their documentation, so you can search Bunjs. So Bunjs. So and you'll see the instructions for installing from in Linux, Windows, and the other operating systems. But for me, I'm using Linux, to be specific, Linux Mint in this case. And with that, let us jump straight into the video. So what I will do, I will create one file. We'll call it main.js. So this is where we'll be writing our JS that will be running the Zig code. Then I will also add another file, and I will call it add.zig. So this is where we'll be writing our Zig code, compile it, and then run it inside our JavaScript file. So for testing, so let me just console.log hello world here and see if my Bun is working. So hello world. So I can open my terminal over here, then run Bun followed by the name of the JavaScript file. So it works. So with that, let us start by writing the Zig code that we'll be utilizing inside our main.js file. So I will write just a simple function that takes two arguments, two numbers, and returns the sum of those two numbers. So, and I will be writing first in Zig, then compile it, then run the function inside our JavaScript file. So to start defining this function signature, I will start by specifying it is a public. It's public. It's a public function, followed by export, meaning that we'll be using it outside. Then followed by the fn. So in Zig, to define a function, we use the fn keyword, followed by the name of the function, so which will be add. So inside here, we'll define num1, which will be of type i32. So i32 is a data type in Zig which specify that can store positive and negative integers. So there is a signed and then unsigned integer. So the unsigned only stores the positive value, but the signed stores positive and negative values. So our first argument is num1, which is of type i32. Our second one will be also of the same type. So here i32. Then we specify the return type, so it will return the same type. Then return the sum of both the numbers. So return num1 plus num2. Then put a semicolon. So with that, we have finished there. So we can go ahead and compile our Zig file. So it's simple. Just call the Zig compiler. So you have to have Zig and Bun installed to be able to run this project. So I'll call the Zig compiler, then followed by the build lib argument, then followed by the name of the file, which was add.zig, followed by this flag, so dynamic. So it's a dynamic library, so dynamic. Then followed by another flag, which is O release fast. Then enter. So you can see that it has compiled it has produced two files, the SO and the SO.O. So the one that we are interested in is this SO extension over here. So as determining, or if you are running a Windows machine, it may be different. It is a DLL file, and if you are running macOS, or you are running this project in a macOS environment, it may be different because it may be dylib. So, and if it is Linux, is .so. So it may differ regarding or depending on the environment that you're running in. So in my case, I'm running Linux, it will compile to SO, but it doesn't matter. So the same way that we'll run this code, you can run it. There is no special syntax for running this library in different environments. So don't worry if you see a different file extension. If you're using Linux, it's .so. If you're using Windows, .dll. If you're using macOS, .dylib. Then, so let me close this and start writing the logic that we'll be using to run the library inside our JavaScript file. So we'll import some libraries or function that will help us to run that library. So I'll import, then put some, because I'll be destructuring from this library. So this library is called Bunjs FFI, like that. So Bunjs FFI, then here will Bunjs full colon here, sorry, full colon FFI. Then here we'll be importing some functions. So for example, the first function is dl open, though this will load our library that we have compiled from Zig and make us use it. And the second function or type that we'll be using is FFI type. So this will provide us the types that we'll be using to pass inside our function. So the i32 and the other types, and this third one and the final one is suffix. So this will determine if it is an SO, DLL, or dylib. So after doing that, I will destructure a type from this FFI type, and it is const followed by this curly braces, then FFI type. So here I will just destructure one type, i32, like that. Then the next thing that we have to do is create a path of where our library lies. So I will just declare a variable using const followed by the name path, which will be equal to the name of our library, which is libadd, and put it in this backticks because we'll be using the string format, the new string formatting features in JavaScript. So libadd, then dot. So now here comes the file extension. So dot. So here we put a $sign followed by suffix. So let us console.log and see what is the output of that path. So we'll print path. So to run it, I will run burn main.js. So you can see .so. If you run this, you may see different extension from mine, but don't worry, it will work regardless. So after getting the path, the second thing we have to now pass in or create the library. So I will just declare another variable called lib, which will be equal to dl open. So we will load. So here what we are doing, we are loading the library that will be that we will execute or use. So dl open, so it's a function that loads the library for us. Then first of all, you have to pass the path, so here, which is provided by this, which will be returned by this variable, then followed by a set of curly braces, which these are literal objects. Then you pass the name of the function. In our case, our function was called add. So here we have to say add, which will be also another object, and then specify what are we passing inside this function. So there is the args property, then which will be an array, which will take the arguments that we are taking are i32, i32. So we have to say that we are taking two arguments which are type i32, i32. Then the next property, the next property is the return type, of that function. So returns i32. As simple as that. Then we can go ahead and now execute the function. So we can go here and just declare a variable called result, which will use the lib dot symbols. So you have to include the dot symbols dot, now the name of the function add, and now passing the two numbers, so 12 and let's say 12. Then let us console.log and see the output, so result. So with that, let us run, and we are running using burn. So we'll use burn then main.js, then just press enter and see. So you can see it has worked. So as simple as that, we have run Zig code, or we have written a Zig code, compiled it to our library, and then loaded it into a JavaScript function, and then I executed the function. So that's how you can run Zig inside JavaScript using Bunjs. So if you have any question, you can ask me in the comment section, and I'll be happy to reply. And if this video has helped you, just leave a thumbs up and subscribe for more content. So thank you. See you in the next video.